we're not there yet, but there will be. So we want to call this, we're switched the name over. We want to welcome you and thank you for participating and coming out and hearing what's going on in our community. I am Crystal Mitchell. I am the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, as well as a business coach in the community. I have a weekly radio show called The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, and I am passionate about my community and our all coming together, eliminating our silos and working together to become a bigger voice and to be able to thrive instead of survive. So that's my mission and purpose for being on this planet. And my producer and co-host, Mr. Stephen Turner, representing the BBA. So.
Yes. I thank everyone for attending the Black Business Association. And as we approach our 50th anniversary, we're unapologetically pro-Black business. Having someone of Ingrid Merriweather's caliber on the platform today to share her history, her vision, and as we try to pivot, not only as Crystal mentioned, survive but thrive, we look forward to that.
Yes. And my co-host today, I'm neat, right?
Omoné.
Omoné Livingston. Lady just does some amazing things in our community. When you look at her name and all her initials on the bottom, you're just like, I'm impressed to know her. She is doing her thing out there, and I am very happy and honored to have you share the platform with me today. So welcome. And I think we're gonna have a great program today. A lot of great information. Miss Ingrid Merriweather, I've met you a couple of times. I don't know if you were introduced in circles, so I'm honored to have you here today. So thank you so much for being here with us. And let's get started. So
let's do that.
Tell us a little bit about you and.
Sure.
Okay.
So first, I just want to thank, of course, Stephen Turner and Crystal Mitchell for giving me the opportunity to co-host today's event. I'm also honored to virtually share the stage with you, Crystal, as a co-host. My name again is Omoné Livingston. I am a civil and environmental engineer with over 28 years of experience. I'm also the founder, president, and CEO of O2 Engineering Projects and Construction Management, O2 EPCM. O2 EPCM is a professional management consultant firm located in Los Angeles area. We are an experienced and certified small women disadvantaged, minority, and SAM registered firm. We provide professional, technical, and consultant services, managing, planning, engineering, design, and construction projects. O2 EPCM also provides full service program management, construction management, project controls, quality assurance, quality control inspection services, stormwater pollution prevention plan, and staff augmentation services. Did you want me to?
Well, welcome. See, like I told you guys, see how impressed you are? I'm impressed.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure. I'm honored.
We're honored. So you're going to introduce Ms. Merriweather?
Yes, I am. And I understand Stephen wanted me to talk about current events before introducing Ingrid.
You can do that.
You want me to do that? Before going into, I'm sorry, Stephen?
Before going to that, Ingrid has a hard leave at 11:30. I thought we can introduce her and hear her remarks.
Okay, we can do that. We'll do. With that said, it is, of course, an honor, Ingrid, to be here with you today. This lady is a phenomenal lady. She's, of course, our guest speaker today. Let me give you a little brief summary of who she is. Ingrid Merriweather. She's a president and CEO of Merriweather Williams Insurance Services. She's one of the largest women and Black-owned financial service companies in the nation. She serves as a client executive on several of the firm's largest accounts, including the city of Los Angeles, the city and county of San Francisco, and San Diego Regional Airport Authority. She has over 25 years of experience in the insurance, bonding, and finance industry, providing insight on not only how to survive, but thrive in this challenging economy. Please help me in welcoming Ingrid Merriweather. Ingrid?
Great, thank you so much. And thank you, Stephen, Crystal, Omoné, for the introduction, for the opportunity to have a few minutes with you. Thank you for that introduction. I need to get you an updated bio because clearly, let's see, instead of 25 years in the business, it's, wow, going on 35 years in the business.
Wow.
So it's been some time. Our firm has been in business for 23 years now. So I know the time I have with you is brief, so I really want to maximize it and make it as meaningful and hopefully action-provoking as possible. So I'll give you just a brief background on our firm and our work, only as a context as to why we're involved in this other arena that I would really want to spend some time talking about. So our firm, for what's most relevant to this audience, administers programs for public agencies that are designed to increase their contracting activity with minority and small local businesses. That's usually in the arena of construction, but it's kind of been expanding now into professional services. And when it comes to policy advocacy work that we do, then it's meant to apply to all business industries. So we have been a 23-year policy advocate around public agencies adopting more conducive contracting and procurement processes that enable more inclusion of folks like us. And, you know, some of our results have helped us expand the work we do and the agencies that we get to work with. We're just about to hit $1 billion of contracting activity that has been generated through the programs that we administer. They're in place with the City of LA, with Metro, with Alameda County, with the City and County of San Francisco. San Francisco's program has been in place for 23 years. And they're really designed to address the systemic barriers and the practical barriers that inhibit minority firms from successfully competing and completing, for the most part, public construction contract work. So it includes bonding, it includes a wide range of technical assistance. And then we've just piloting a new program in San Francisco called CAP, which stands for Contractor Accelerated Payment Program, which we're really excited about. We're really hoping that we can kind of maximize some of the recent current events, in particular the George Floyd incident or unfortunate incident, but the opportunity that that has kind of launched us all into. And this program is designed to essentially provide contract financing for companies doing business with public agencies. So one of the biggest challenges, particularly for contractors, is working capital. And you know, you all and other organizations have had convened many things around access to capital. And this program is really designed to actually provide funding. We got a sponsor to start us off with $1 million of financing that we're actually able to give contractors upfront money to cover their contracting costs related with the public contract and give them access to contract capital throughout completion of the contract. So we're having some conversations. Stephen, your brother in name anyway, Mr. Turner from Bank of America, we had a meeting with him last week because, you know, B of A has that initiative. So we've put this forward as a candidate to get banks and others to help fund a pool of dollars that then could be operationalized and made available to minority and small contractors, again, to give them contract capital. So I want to talk more about what I think I'm calling the urgency of now, which is advocating for equity in contracting. And I'll explain what I mean. Most of you have probably already heard about Proposition 16. I know Edwin's on the call from the California Black Chamber, so he's very aware of it. Hey, Edwin. For those of you who aren't familiar with this yet, this would essentially overturn Proposition 209. So it's Prop 16, it will be on the November ballot. It was a miracle that those who advocated for it in the California legislature got it through all the necessary approvals and supportive votes, something they probably could not have done before the opportunity that George Floyd brought to all of us. And so that's another way that there's a kind of an opportunity to maximize crisis, if you will. And so it's going to be on the November ballot. Again, it would essentially overturn Proposition 209 and restore or enable the restoration of affirmative action in the state of California. And so we're very focused on this right now. Matter of fact, we're going to have a town hall, and I will send Stephen the flyer to send out to everyone. It's going to be on July 28th via Zoom at 4 o'clock. And those who are very involved in getting this passed on the ballot, the campaign strategy, and what is most important that I want to spend a few minutes talking about is sharing with everyone an education about what's going to be necessary in terms of policy to actually affect this. So if the proposition passes, and all the polling indicates it will, if it doesn't get thwarted by some of the antics that some folks are already up to, who are opposed to it, who are trying to frame it as anti-civil rights, just kind of like they did last time around. So hopefully those kinds of deceitful efforts won't be successful this time. But so the polling is indicating that it will pass. And if it does, what it does is it enables agencies like, let's just use the city of Los Angeles as a good example, to reinstitute affirmative action contracting practices, which essentially would allow an agency to designate a percentage of required contracting participation amongst different ethnic groups and women-owned businesses. So because it enables them doesn't mean it will happen. It means they can do it. It doesn't mean they will do it. This has to be accompanied with political will, and political will comes from advocacy of those who would benefit from it. So I'm kind of on a mission right now to try and get to as many minority businesses in particular, as well as BBA, and the Chamber is active in this, and other organizations that advocate for minority and women businesses, to really get us going in organizing and putting forth a strategy to essentially force the issue to get public agencies who will be enabled to do it to actually adopt and implement it. And I'll just share with you, I use the city of LA as an example because I've been having some conversations with them, and we've already identified what the blockage will be for them to put affirmative action and contracting in place. Right now, the block to them doing so is the opinion of their city attorney that because LA is a charter city, they would actually have to go to the voters with their own, addendum or motion or whatever they would call it, and get the voters to actively vote for contracting equity in LA. So that's kind of a disheartening interpretation, because as you can imagine what that effort would require. I mean, one, there's cost to have a voter proposition that's just one thing on the ballot. So there's enormous cost to doing that. The political will is a heavy lift to do something like that because it's an amendment of the charter for the city of LA. And to be honest with you, there are a lot of people who feel that that's kind of a scapegoat, that that really shouldn't be what's necessary. So it's just giving you an example. That's one agency. That's just the city of LA. So it's very clear that simultaneously with the campaign to get the proposition passed, there needs to be another organized effort by minority and women-owned businesses who stand to gain the greatest benefit from affirmative action and contracting to get organized, to get educated, and launch its own kind of policy campaign or political campaign to really force the issue for the agencies to adopt and implement it now that the law would allow them to do so. So I would encourage you all, if you can, to participate in this town hall on the 28th. You're going to learn more, not just about the proposition, but about what is necessary to get public agencies to adopt and implement it. We're hoping for a strategy that will allow us to do this kind of in a regional way rather than with each public entity. Because if you have to advocate with the city of LA and then you have to advocate separately with the county of LA and MWD and all the other LAUSD, LACCD, I mean, that effort, as you can imagine, would be quite burdensome agency by agency. We think a better approach would be a region-wide approach where you would take all the public agencies, for example, in the county of LA, and a strategy that would approach them kind of all simultaneously, because the issues are the same. They have to find the path to adopt the policy that then allows them to fully implement Proposition 16, affirmative action and contracting, and then along with that, isn't just the policy, but it's the practices and the programs, what we call the 3 Ps, policy, practices, and programs. So I know with that, my time is drawing close to an end, but I just want to really reinforce that this is one of those crises and opportunity moments. I'm of the belief that this is a very short window. As we know, when things like this occur, we get so much time to take advantage of it and capture or maximize the opportunity from it. And I believe this to be one of those moments. But it's going to take something, to be honest with you, that I don't think we've done as well as we need to. And that's forming strong advocacy coalitions amongst different organizations who share mission and principle when it comes to advocating for minority businesses, to join together, to have a strategy, to speak with one voice, and to execute a campaign to get this implemented. So I'm going to leave a minute or two for questions if anyone has any, and hope to see you all on the 28th. And I will, like I said, send the information to Stephen to send out. But does anyone have any
Ingrid,
questions?
that was fantastic. I actually, I'm glad that you said that. As you know, we both belong to the City of LA's Ad Hoc Advisory Committee, and we got firsthand information about this from our leaders here in the LA area.
Mm-hmm.
So remembering to vote in November, on November 3rd in this very important presidential election, of course, Proposition 13, which will be in California's ballot, is vital.
16.
Oh, I'm sorry,
It's
excuse me, 16, thank you.
Yeah.
Proposition 16, which is actually to repeal the 1996 Proposition 209, and it's vital that we all vote on November 3rd. And with that said, I have a question though. I know that Merriweather Williams have several programs that assist small businesses, as you have touched on some of them. For those individuals that are not as involved or familiar with your programs, can you please direct them on how to get access to these programs and how they can qualify
Sure.
to help the small businesses that are currently listening?
Okay, so real brief, and I'll make sure my some contact information goes to Stephen as well. So the programs in LA, I'll speak to specifically, it's called the Contractor Development and Bonding Program. And it's a very wide range of technical assistance offered to small minority women, local business enterprises, to facilitate their access, understanding, and in some cases, financial support to successfully bid and contract with the City of LA, including all the proprietaries, so that's LAWA, DWP, and the Port, and Metro. And so everything, all the services are tailored to the individual firm. So we start with a needs assessment, then we develop a work plan with you, and then you are assigned an account manager whose job is really to essentially help manage your work plan to achieve the objectives that you've mutually identified, with the ultimate goal of you successfully bidding and being awarded contracts and successfully completing them. So as I said, we've done about $1 billion of this type of work over the last 23 years. One of the things that we are most proud of is in all that time, out of about 1,300 transactions, we've only had 2 contractors fail to complete their contracts in 23 years. So what that is a testament to really the quality, the commitment of minority and small firms when they finally have help overcoming all of those systemic barriers and are able to compete, that their results in industry-wide demonstrate to be many times better than their larger majority peers. Our program loss ratio is less than 0.1%, which in my industry, that's unheard of. So we've been able to demonstrate, because of the support of our sponsors, the public agencies, that when you remove barriers, more firms can compete. They can compete and complete successfully. And the other thing that we're able to capture that gives a lot of credence and leverage to support these kind of programs is that we're able to demonstrate cost savings. So every time we help a minority or small contractor be in a position to bid a project, and they're the successful low bidder, we capture the data of who the second bidder was. So that represents cost savings to the owner, because had the contractor not received assistance, then that next bidder would have been the low bidder. That's been about $14 million in savings. We have single contracts awarded for the City of LA where the city saved over $1 million on just one contract. So it's really important to understand that barriers and obstacles really cost public agencies money, which is our money, taxpayer money. And everybody benefits from having a larger pool of firms who are able to compete. And we have been able to demonstrate that and quantify that. And that has helped to further not just our programs being adopted, but make the case that all of the practices and policies around contracting and procurement need to be vetted to discern what are the systemic obstacles that are preventing folks from being able to compete. So I'll give you another example. This falls in the policy advocacy work that we do, but another example, we are huge proponents of what are called sheltered bidding. I still like calling them set-asides, but everybody tells me don't use the word set-aside, that that's a negative term. Baloney, but anyway, I'll go with it. I don't want to negate opportunity because people get turned off on the term, but another term that's used is sheltered bidding. We have seen in 2 decades worth of working with the city and county of San Francisco, who actively uses set-asides. They call them set-asides, and they actively utilize them. There are hundreds of set-aside contracts a year in San Francisco. But it is one of the most conducive contracting practices that enables inclusion and participation, because it allows minority businesses to compete as primes. Primes on right-sized, smaller projects, but primes nonetheless. Instead of firms having to go and hunt and chase and try to develop relationships with large prime firms, many of whom, you know, have the folks they're working with and aren't really all that interested in working with someone new. So we have seen that be such a successful program in San Francisco and create a nurturing environment for small contractors to build capacity, again, without having to go and court and date and solicit from the prime contractors, that we're really, if whenever we're asked, what do we think is the most important best practice around contracting, that's the number one. I have a whole kind of policy paper that I put together on what could improve, practical things that agencies can do that could improve access and create a conducive environment for minorities and small contractors to compete. So that's the other thing around this advocacy is when you advocate for them to adopt race and gender targeted programs, which Prop 16 would allow, you don't just advocate for the policy, but you need to advocate for practices. That's how they implement it. And you need to advocate for programs, things that will remove some of the barriers that have been there that have impeded folks from participating.
Ingrid, there are a number of women owned and operated and organizations that are on this that are viewing this call. What can we do to get together with you? My organization is women led, and I have a number of other organizations. I know the Black Women's Network is represented here. What can we do to help you with the advocacy? If we all come together, you let us know what we need, and I'm sure my sisters here on the call and my sisters that are not here, we will be very honored to speak up on the behalf of women here, because a lot of us, we know the difficulty there is with being a women-led business, that there's definitely privileges that are for males and not there for females. So I don't think we have a problem with that.
Okay, well, I think the first step is to participate on the 28th.
We can make that happen.
One of the objectives I have is from that town hall that we do just that we can identify some organizations and individuals who want to volunteer for the effort that needs to start now and continue through the passage of Prop 16, again, focused on how we can get these policies in place. A couple things I'll mention that I found interesting. If Prop 16 passes, it can actually be implemented starting the first week of December. So that was interesting. And then the other thing that was a little disheartening, but I'm going to stay optimistic about, is that there is a case, an affirmative action case, working its way through the Supreme Court. It's Harvard versus someone, I can't remember the plaintiff. But we're concerned that a Supreme Court ruling against affirmative action on that case could essentially moot Prop 16's passage. I'm hoping that's not the case, but if it is, it's even a greater urgency to get these policies in place now. Also, get them in place in a way that as much as possible they can be sustained, even if the Supreme Court does not fall in our favor. So one of the folks we're going to have on the call is an attorney who has represented, say, Caltrans, for example, and was able to help Caltrans defend implementing affirmative action on some of their projects. And so we'll have some legal counsel to help us understand what do the public agencies need to do, not just to adopt it, but how do you do it in a way that it could survive challenge if for some reason affirmative action is struck a blow from the Supreme Court. And my apologies, but I have to
go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it was nice seeing you all. And as I said, I'll send Stephen the information about the 28th, and I hope to see all of you there.
Yeah, we will be there.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay, so wow, that's very important. And ladies, I know we have a loud voice and we can make this happen. And in addition to our brethren here, we can all, because this is important to us. voting on November 3rd goes beyond just getting the individual that is habitating the White House. It is so many other things that's so vital to us as a people. We need to make sure we all get out to vote. We encourage our 18-year-olds to go out to vote. We encourage all our family members to make sure they're at the polls and not get caught up in the politics, because there's other things there that we need and other propositions and other things on the ballot that needs our attention. So you want to go ahead?
Sure.
With the updates?
Yeah, for sure. So as we all know, we actually, I want to take this time. I think it's really important that we remember the life and legacy of an iconic civil rights activist and legend, Congressman John Lewis. If you don't know John Lewis, I hope you do. As a young man, Congressman Lewis joined forces with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and dedicated his life to advocate for human rights and equal justice through nonviolent activism. Congressman Lewis continued to fight for change by serving in the United States House of Representatives of Georgia's 5th Congressional District from 1987 until his passing on July 17, 2020. So please just help me, remember him. Rest in peace, Congressman John Lewis. And we are forever thankful for all you've done for the Black community, of course, here in America.
Which means our voice need to be even louder, because we don't have a lot of there was another civil rights, two actually died. One was C.T. Vernon, Vivian, and also Charles Evers died last night. So these are all big voices that were speaking on our behalf. So as our leaders are aging out, we need new leaders and new voices in order to speak for us in the same capacity that they spoke for us.
That's right, Crystal. And also, as you know, since the pandemic, some businesses have been forced to close down, and we have all been challenged in doing, our businesses in a different way. And just, of course, stay safe and adhere to CDC guidelines. There are several local, state, and federal government programs and resources to help businesses recover and open safely. It is wise to take advantage of these programs to help keep your businesses alive, especially during this challenging time. So it's encouraged that you take advantage of these programs. As you know, we do have the SBA PPP program, the Paycheck Protection Program, and the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. I would advise you to check out the SBA website at sba.gov for updates and information about this, because these there are changes that are occurring every day, so you want to keep up with that. If you have not already applied for these programs or loans, please do so before the closing date. I believe they pushed the date to August or so.
August 8th.
I'm not sure, I think it's 17th. Oh, is it 8th?
The 8th, August 8th, and they still have about $130 billion still available. We have Colette Moore on if we need to have more details from PCR. She could give some more input as well.
That's right. Also, there are local programs, like in LA County, Orange County, Inland Empire, and different cities that are offering loans and grants. Please, stay connected and apply to these programs that are helping our businesses stay alive, especially Black businesses. We don't want to lose any business. We're trying to keep alive and keep going with all of the challenges we're facing with COVID-19. So please take advantage of those local programs too as well. One of which actually, there are millions in grants that are available through the LA Regional COVID-19 Recovery Fund. If you haven't heard, this is the second round of applications, and it's open. It opened July 20th and will be closing July 24th. There's a total of $3 million recovery fund, which was established as a joint effort by the County of LA and the City of Los Angeles, as well as additional support from philanthropic partners. This grant aims to assist small businesses, nonprofits, and micro entrepreneurs that have been adversely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, providing $5,000 grants to micro entrepreneurs and 15,000 grants to nonprofits and small businesses. So to ensure that this is equitable access to capital across various demographics throughout the region, grants will be distributed through an equitable lottery system. So please do ensure that you apply for these grants to help your businesses. Remember, I just want to take this time just to remember to vote on November 3rd. Again, I can't say that enough. With that said, I will pass it on to Crystal.
Thank you very much. There's some other issues that are pending right now. Everyone knows, for those of you that are self-employed or independent contractors, the $600 that was the federal government's unemployment UI contribution is ending on the 25th. It's up in the air. I believe Congress had on the table a $3.4 trillion proposal, and that would have included extending the $600, considering that it's potentially possible that we're going to be still in this quarantine environment till for another 5 weeks as it stands right now. They're not shutting down Los Angeles as of yet, not this week anyway, but next week could be, because the numbers are rising daily. So we need our voices. So you guys, if this is something important to you, that $600 is between life and death for a number of people. Also, the forbearance for rent and mortgages are being lifted as of July 31st. So they're looking at a humongous number of evictions. If we don't get that back, that forbearance extended, you can't be closed and everything opens back up. It's just, unemployment, I think the max is $300, maybe $400 and something dollars. That is not enough to cover rents and food and take care of family and children. And it appears that children are going back to online. They're not going to go back to school, so the parents are going to be at home. So this infusion of cash is vital for survival for our families, in addition to our economy. If we stop the flow of income, we are heading straight for a depression, something that looks far greater than what took place in 2007 and 2008, when a lot of us were hit extremely hard. So I suggest everyone on the call, there's 30 of us, we need to write to our representatives. They need to hear us. They need to hear about your family. They need to hear your stories so that we can affect some change. Yes, we cannot let that happen. Could we, Edwin, are you here? Are you on the call, or you're just, hello?
I'm here, Crystal.
Maybe you can add some insight to this and what's going on from a state level.
What specifically were you talking about?
I was talking about unemployment and some of the changes, the forbearances being opened up, all of that sort of stuff that's going on. But we still have quarantine going on.
It's very important that our voices are being heard at the federal level. The Republican Party are watering down some of the safeguards that were put in place by our Democratic representatives early on that secured that additional $600 a week for individuals. They're talking about going as low as $200 a week as opposed to $600, and they're also talking about limiting it so that if your income is over a certain level, I think it's a $40,000 that they're proposing, that you're not eligible to receive that federal money. That's rather ridiculous, because $200 a week when you have no income whatsoever on top of the small amount that we're getting from the state of California is going to be devastating to most people. Also, not very many people are aware of this, but there is some movement at the federal level to make all PPP loans forgivable.
Mm.
That's just some inside baseball that I've heard in conversations that I've had. But again, you must be prepared to report properly so that in the initial phases of this, you can have majority of the loan that you receive forgiven. If you don't report properly, you will be required to pay that entire loan back. The interest rates will not be favorable, and the time frame that you have to pay it back in is going to be almost devastating to your company. So follow the guidelines, make sure you read the small print, and you ask questions of your representative that's helping you to secure these loans so that you don't get caught up in the minutia that can potentially happen. Our current president does not really care about us. He can care less if we exist or not. And you can see that from what's going on up in Portland, Oregon, and what he's proposing in other cities like Chicago, where he's got a militia that's going into those cities and beating people, peaceful protesters. And these are not military installations that he's sending. No one knows who these folks are. So we have to be vigilant, pay attention, communicate with each other, just like we're doing here. And Crystal, thank you so much for this. Make sure that you are tuned into the right places at the right time so that you can gather information. The piece that Ingrid is going to do is going to be very vital. I would ask that you take the time and figure out where you have to go to register for that and get on board, gather that information, but use it. Prop 16 is huge, ladies and gentlemen. If we can turn back Prop 209 and make it clear across the board in every county and every city in the state of California, that's a game changer. All of a sudden, we're eligible for state contracts that we have not been given or even considered in for many, many years. And our states and cities spend billions of dollars in these contracts. So we're missing out. Those contracts can help lift one community from a low-income community and make it a thriving and prominent community just because of the tax base that it can bring. So please pay attention, get engaged, get involved. Don't just sit back and take the information and don't do anything. Write your representatives in the federal government, write your city councilmen and your county supervisors. Let them know that you're paying attention and you want your voice to be heard. So Crystal and Stephen, thank you so much for this platform. And I look forward to every week doing this with you guys.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Edwin. Can we get Colette to, because I see that you've indicated that there's some sessions going on that we need to know about that's coming out of PCR. So if you can come on board, we appreciate that.
All right. Just wanted to share, we've been doing every other week a quick info session regarding the LA COVID Fund. So to answer those questions, but yes, you can apply multiple times. And so please apply again this week. It closes on Friday. So apply. Only those people that become finalists, though, are going to be notified. So you will not get a decline letter. You will only get a next phase letter. So if you did not get one for the first phase, apply again and stay in there for all 6 waves. So, and there may be hopefully some additional money that comes through.
Okay, so thank you so much. And Dr. Vanderpool, would you like to add something to the platform here? Is she still there? Hello? Okay, so the information that Colette has, she's put it in the chat room for where the webinars are taking place. Please take that information. I will send it out to you as well as along with this video. I think the copy of this video, because it's very important. And please write. We got time, guys. Let's write. There's some life changing opportunities for us. There's also some devastation for us if we don't start connecting and speaking for ourselves and not waiting and letting other people do it for us. We're our vested interest, not someone else. They're worried about themselves. We should be worried about ourselves, and we should be taking this time to make some really phenomenal changes in how our community is thriving. What Edwin said is very important, and it's going to take us this whole entire village nationally to make some changes. We're going through some stuff. So we're in our last 2 minutes. Stephen, you have anything? I'm needing you. Can't get my lips together. Anyone else have anything? Any questions that you want to ask?
Well,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, two things. Again, as I mentioned, the Black Business Association is celebrating their 50th anniversary in September. The theme is going to be wealth creation. Secondarily, I'm the managing director of the Slaton Group. Again, we're a risk management firm specializing in employee benefits. So if I can be a resource to anyone who has employees, my sweet spot is from 15 to 80 employees. And lastly, I just wanted to mention to Edwin, for those who have operation in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's a grant program for small business owners. And Edwin, can you elaborate on that, if you're so kind? If you're still there.
Yes, if you're a business in the San Francisco area, or if you are returning to the San Francisco area, they've secured quite a bit of money from the city of San Francisco to make available to small businesses up to $50,000. And there is a webinar that's going to be taking place, I believe it's tomorrow, to discuss that.
Okay, thank you. I think you sent that out to us. Send it out to me. I'll forward it. I forwarded it out to my mailing list and constituents. Anyone else that had any questions? This is the time for you to ask that question. Dr. Vanderpool, no, but an owner is limited to $20,833 across all businesses. However, there is no definition of the owner. So I think someone was asking on the ownership perspective for the PPP grants or
yes.
loans.
Crystal, that was a response.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a response to Dr. Vanderpool's. I just asked one of my banking advisors to send me a quick answer, so I just got it back. So.
Okay, all righty. So did anyone else? We have about a few seconds left.
So Crystal, I just wanted to add that it's really, really important that we stay informed because things are consistently changing. So, you know, resources like SBA, PCR, SBDC, I mean, believe you me, I attend these Zoom meetings on a daily basis because things are consistently changing. So you want to be informed, you want to know what's going on, you want to know what resources are there to help. These are challenging times that we're all facing right now, and you want to find out what resources are there to help you and stay informed. And please vote November 3rd. I cannot say that enough. Thank you, and please stay safe and healthy, guys.
Crystal, I have a question in regards to the stimulus. Is there any updates on that, of the additional stimulus that may be coming?
I hear that that is on the table. They're talking $2,000 a month, but however, there seems to be some strings attached to it. And one of those, I think last night I read that they've approved $1 trillion, but they're still trying to decide how that's going to look and what that's going to look like. But I think they're taking it, the Congress is taking it back to the floor because they want to include that the $600 back in for the federal unemployment part. So I don't think it's been signed off as of yet. And I believe from what I'm reading that there's some, the president is trying to tie it in to get people to vote for him to increase his numbers. So they're playing games with it.
So to add to that, I got information yesterday from a congressperson stating that the House approved a $3 trillion funding for a second round of possible PPP, but the Congress took it back to $1 trillion. So they're looking into a possible second round of PPP applications. So I'm sorry, someone wanted to say something?
Yeah, this is Andrew Williams Jr. Crystal, thank you so much for this. I see Ian Fox is still here. I'd like to volunteer him and myself to work together to pull together a comprehensive platform so that we can have one place, we can have all the communications that are going on through our various networks on the Revelation Network platform. So I'm willing to make that available as we move forward to November 3rd. Every day we need to continue our collaborations. As Mohammed Nasruddin mentioned when we first met, there's a lack of places where we can all communicate at one time. We're very incestuous. So Ian and I will work on putting that together for this team. Thanks,
Okay,
Ian.
and I thank you, Ian, and I'll talk to you, Andrew, afterwards. One thing we're going to have, Vaughn Williams wants to say something, but I'm just reading something from the Treasury Secretary, Stephen Mnuchin. He says stimulus package will not be a bailout for what they consider mismanaged states. So you probably should do some reading up on that, and because that's their whatever they think mismanaged states are. And remember, this is all political. So there you have it. So Vaughn, did you have something that you wanted to say or provide us with? Vaughn Williams.
Hi,
Sorry, I
Vaughn.
was on mute. I do.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to be on the call.
Hey,
I just
Vaughn.
wanted to, hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. So I just wanted to share with you, I'm sorry I'm late. I've been working on a project to create opportunities for our African-American suppliers across the state of California in partnership with a couple of the other utilities. And so in the next week or so, I'll be sending an invite to all the chambers and African-American suppliers for that event. What we're trying to do is pull together contracts that we believe African-American suppliers will be able to do or perform based on their registration in the supplier clearinghouse. And so the dates for that event are September 3rd and 4th, just to give you a heads up. And as soon as I have finished with the flyer, I will get it over to you, Crystal. But I just wanted to chime in and just let you know that we are aggressively seeking opportunities for African-American suppliers. We know that other suppliers have historically bumped us out based on several factors, but we are fighting tooth and nail to ensure that our suppliers get the opportunity that they so richly deserve.
Thank you,
That's fantastic. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's what we like to hear. That's some stuff right there. We appreciate that. So we have about 3 minutes left. We want to thank everyone, all the viewers, and we really, truly hope this platform is beneficial for you. And any other platform like this, the biggest issue in our community is the lack of information, the lack of knowledge, and the lack of timely knowledge that is being backed up and verified by the people that are sitting at the table. And I have a favorite saying, if you're not sitting at the table, then you are the menu. You're more likely on the menu, and we are on the menu. And so we need our voices heard. Use your social media platforms, guys. Don't be afraid to speak your voice. Only thing can happen is Facebook will kick you out. So then go to Instagram and go to Twitter and go to YouTube, and they'll put you back on. Just write to them and tell them that it's all about business, and they'll stop messing with you. I am very vocal on my social platform, and so I encourage everyone, and I challenge everyone to use your social media platforms to share the information and knowledge that you have to keep our people informed. It is vitally important to our community. If we one go down, trust me, we all going down.
Absolutely.
Stephen, anything else you want to in our last 2 minutes?
In closing, I'd like to acknowledge one of our legal eagles that's on the platform, my namesake, but no relationships to me, the godmother of my youngest daughter, attorney Cheryl Turner.
Okay.
And if you're looking for a business, if you're going to be in business, you need an attorney. And I can recommend no one else other than Cheryl Turner.
Cheryl, can you say a few words for us?
Well, yes, I've always been a part affiliated with VBA around and about, and so I'm very glad to join you today. I apologize for being late, but I look forward to maintaining relationships with all of you that I've worked with before and establishing new relationships with each and every one of you. And I do again want to emphasize the power of the vote. I was a candidate for the Board of Equalization about 2 years ago and was the second highest Democrat. I came in third. I was listed in the paper, and I'll be running again for another office very soon for state senate. And
I think I voted for you.
Out to each and every one. Yeah.
I voted for you.
I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Great to see you, Cheryl. You're awesome. Good to see you again. I'll be calling you later.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
and Stephen, so we're gonna close out. But Stephen, it's a possibility that you guys could be related. You just haven't traced back your lineage, my brother. We probably are all connected. So we want to thank you guys for all coming. Please come back next week. Stephen works hard to bring us some wonderful, exciting guests that can share such wisdom and insight with us. So please come back next week and we will see you guys. Be safe, be masked up. We want to get out of this pandemic. So let's just comply and do what we have to do. I need to be able to eat out in a restaurant. I need to be able to go to the movies. I need to go to the beach without feeling that I'm going to die when I come back. So please, let's make sure everybody is doing. And I want to see you guys personally. I love Zoom, but I want to be able to hug some people. So thank you guys for tuning in. And we will see you next week. Have a fantastic weekend. And blessings. Peace and blessings.
Thank you. Blessings to you. Be safe.
Love to all. I love you all. Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ian. I
Bye,
see you.
Ian.
Bye, Ian.
Thanks, Krista.